In the previous tutorial, we were looking at margin. And one of the useful calculations you'll want to know if you decide to buy securities on margin is at what price will you receive a margin call. And we can work this out by figuring out how much margin is in your account. And we just go to the equation. Remember the equation for margin, you see here, is the value of securities minus the debit balance divided by the value of the securities. Well, what's V? V is equal to the price per share times the number of shares that you buy times the quantity. So let's just substitute that in. So M is now going to be equal to P times Q minus D divided by P times Q. So we've got to do a little algebra here, and I'll work this out for you, but in the end you can just work with the formula. Multiply both sides by P times Q to get this out of the denominator. So we'll have M times P times Q equals P times Q minus D. And what can we do? We could add D to both sides and subtract this term from both sides. So we get the following. We get D, I want D on this side of the equation, D equals P times Q minus M times P times Q. All right, and what do we notice? We notice that in this term on the right-hand side, there's a P times Q in both parts of the equation, so we can factor that out. And so we factored out, we get P times Q times 1 minus M. All right, almost done. All right, let's divide both sides by the following. Okay, we just want P by itself. So I'll put it in terms like this. If we divide both sides by Q times 1 minus M, P will be by itself. So we'll get P equals the debit balance. I'm going to put the D on the right-hand side of the equation. Q times 1 minus M. So that's going to be, let's call that P star. That's the price at which you'll get a margin requirement when the margin is M star. So let's look at an example. Let's say, suppose you buy 100 shares at 40 a share. In fact, I think this is the same example I used before. And we assumed you had a 70% margin. So we had a 70% margin. So what did we say? We said your equity is going to be 70% of 4,000. We get the 4,000 by taking the 100 shares and multiplying it by 40 a share. So we get 2,800. Your debit balance would be the 4,000 minus the 2,800. So you've borrowed 1,200. So let's assume that you'll get a margin call when your margin falls to, let's say, 50%. So let's see if we can't work this out. So let's find the price that gets you that margin call. Well, what did our formula say? Our formula said the price that will get you a margin call is equal to the debit balance times Q times 1 minus M. So let's just plug in. We have a $1,200 balance. We have 100 shares of stock. And we said you're going to get a margin call at 50%. So we're going to have 1,200 over 50. And let's just work that out. 1,200 you're going to get a margin call at a price of $24. So as long as the price is above $24, you're good. If it falls to $24 or below, your broker is going to call you up and ask you to put more money into your account. So this is a crucial number for you to know. If you start getting close to 24, you know that you may be getting a margin call.